3 signs that you are not yet ready to travel after a breakup. So, hi, my name is Andrea Hunt, and if you know me, you know that I talk a lot about traveling after a breakup as a way to get yourself back, to feel empowered, to feel independent, to feel capable again, not to mention having a little bit of adventure and going out to see the world. However, I don't want you to go jumping in. So, here are 3 things that you need to be aware of. So, everybody says, book the trip, just book the trip. All right. And I'm one of the biggest advocates for booking the trip, for traveling alone after a breakup. I'm going to be the one to tell you that timing matters. So travel can be incredibly healing, but only if you're in the right headspace. So if you're still in the very early stages of heartbreak, there are 3 signs that you might need to wait a little bit longer. So the first sign is, 1, you can barely get out of bed. So if you haven't been able to get out of bed because you're crying in the shower, you are in the same PJs, you are, in bed all day, and you can't motivate yourself to do any of the basic self-care. I get that, people. There are so many of my clients that haven't been able to get out of their PJs. They haven't been able to eat. Or maybe they're just having, Cheetos and beer or ice cream or something like that. And it's not healthy and they're not in a good spot. And there is no judgment and no shame about this certain part of the healing process. It's something that a lot of people go to, and I don't want you to feel like you need to judge yourself. However, it does mean that you need to wait a little bit longer before going out and putting yourself out there, traveling alone and getting even more outside of your comfort zone by yourself without the support system of the people that you have around you, okay? So if you can't focus, you can't eat, you're not able to kind of sleep at all, you're having daily meltdowns, this is not the time. The reason, mental sharpness and alertness and discernment. This is important because you need to have your intuition to stay safe. When you travel, it's all about being able to carry yourself in a certain way, to be watching what's happening around you, to be conscious of your surroundings. And when we're in that first initial broken spot, that's just not where we are. We're probably replaying things in our head. We might be obsessively thinking about this person. We might be just breaking down in the middle of a store. This is not the time, not just yet. So when grief completely takes over your nervous system, it just kind of hijacks it. Your body is in the state of fight, flight, or freeze. You might be, having little panic attacks or going through a sense of dread and having all of these emotional waves that you just can't control just yet. And the last thing that you want to do is have all of this come up when you're getting off a plane in a new country, maybe a foreign country that you don't speak the language, and maybe you have to get yourself on the subway, you have to safely carry around your belongings, and it's just not good to be in this frazzled state where your emotions are completely hijacked. So the thing is that it's about stabilizing first, regulating your emotions, eating nourishing foods, getting back to basics. This is the first part of my program that I help you through to be able to get that sense of routine back, that little bit of healthy routine, healthy self-care, knowing that things are getting better slowly but surely, but you are making improvements to feeling better, all right? So the second one is, if you're still having daily breakdowns, this is an indication that, emotionally you're not yet in a safe enough space that it's good to push yourself out into the world by yourself. So if you're still breaking down multiple times a day, please just don't go throwing yourself, out into another country. That's not the answer just yet. The first stage is unbearable, and I totally get it. I have been there. But if you add things that are extra variables like unpredictable environments, unfamiliar things, language barriers, public transportation, trying to find things on Google Maps, not knowing where you're going to stay next, all of those kind of things, it just doesn't help an already overwhelmed nervous system. So I always tell my clients, get outside of the survival mode first. I ask, can you get through the day without falling apart? Can you nourish yourself in basic self-care? It doesn't mean you're happy yet, doesn't mean you're healed yet, but are you able to take care of yourself physically and emotionally? Can you sleep a bit better? Can you regulate your emotions and the emotional waves that come up when you might get triggered or have a memory or something like that? So travel becomes such an incredible opportunity for growth, but we don't want it to add a level of stress and isolation. This is important. And the third one is you're so lonely that you'll trust anybody who gives you attention. Okay, stay with me on this one. So this is not talked enough, but after a breakup, it's completely normal to want validation. Maybe you feel unlovable, you feel undesirable, you feel unattractive. Unfortunately, let's be honest, if you're a woman traveling by yourself, you might get unwanted attention, and you might even kind of get your lose your wits about you and go with people that you probably shouldn't be trusting. Maybe they make you feel validated, maybe they make you feel attractive, and you end up kind of letting your guard down, and you want somebody to choose you, you want to feel better. But if you're traveling alone in that emotional state, it can cloud your judgment. You might overlook red flags. And I'm not saying this to be any kind of a fear monger. It's just that I've seen women make bad choices coming from this place, okay? And you might trust people a little bit too quickly. You might make decisions that you normally wouldn't because you're hurting and you're craving connection. And travel asks you to trust your instincts and to trust yourself and to make good decisions and to stay aware and carry yourself with confidence. And it's much easier when you're traveling because you're really excited about the experience, but you don't want to be hoping somebody else is going to fill that emptiness that you might be feeling at the time. So, in summary, I absolutely believe solo travel after heartbreak can be one of the most healing things that you can do. It definitely has changed my life more than once. If you know me and you've been following me around, you know that I moved to China when I was 28 years old after one of the worst breakups I ever had in my life. Totally changed my life. I am so glad that I did it, but I didn't have the emotional tools to be able to deal with things in a healthier way. So, remember that healing comes before adventure. It doesn't mean you need to be perfectly healed, but you need to be emotionally stable to be able to go out into the world by yourself. Then you can explore, because your trip will be so much more meaningful because you're experiencing it from a place of strength and not from survival, okay? So if you're in that first stage of heartbreak and you're wondering where to even begin, keep in mind that this is why I created my Release, Rebuild, and Rise journey. It is a program of wonderful women that are there supporting each other. It's 12-week programs helping you to regulate your nervous system through the beginning phases where you're so dysregulated, help you process the heartbreak, and also to rebuild your foundation so that when you're ready to step back into the world, whether that's dating, traveling, or simply enjoying your own company, you're doing it with confidence and not from survival mode. So go ahead and check the link if you want to learn more. I'm Andrea Hunt. See you next time.